Hollywood Studios is my absolute favorite Disney park when it comes to the rides. Targeting a more mature audience, rides at Hollywood Studios combine the top-of-the-line theming that Disney is known for with some surprising thrill. From classics like Tower of Terror to newcomers like Rise of the Resistance, this park has plenty of standouts. In this video, however, I want to take a look at everything. From the bottom of the barrel to the best of the best, this is every ride at Hollywood Studios ranked. Number 9. Alien Swirling Saucers. I think it should be clear why this takes the bottom spot. Alien Swirling Saucers is a fairly basic ride, but even then, it disappoints a bit. Compared to similar Disney flat rides, it lacks that classic charm of Dumbo, or the thrilling forces you can get from the Mad Tea Party. And in a park with such an impressive lineup, it really falls behind. Even so, it's hard to be upset at it. There's only so much you can do with a flat ride, especially with the toy theme that they're going for. Not to mention, it works as another way to divert crowds, which is desperately needed in the ever-popular Disney parks. While it's not a fantastic ride, it does serve a purpose, and to that extent, I can understand why it's here. Number 8. Slinky Dog Dash. Despite being higher on this list and an overall better ride, I have some beef with Slinky Dog. Well, not him personally, just his roller coaster. While it's hard for me to get upset at Alien Swirling Saucers, with it only falling slightly behind Disney's other flat rides, I think Disney's roller coasters are held to a different standard. Take Big Thunder Mountain as an example. While this ride aims to be family friendly, it also aims to please everyone. There's fantastic rock work, comedic theming, and even some thrill for coaster enthusiasts like myself. Space Mountain does this too, making up for some of the lost theming by being an overall more crazy and out of control ride. Point being, those roller coasters remain family friendly while still offering something interesting to anyone who rides it. Slinky Dog Dash, on the other hand, does not. It has lackluster theming and barely any thrill, with it honestly being more fun to watch than it is to ride. While I love the toy build-your-own-coaster idea, I don't think this was the best execution Disney could do. It feels like an attraction just put there for the sake of it, which as I said is great for crowd management, but just not as a ride experience. Number 7. Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. Just to get this out of the way first, yes, I like Star Tours more than this one, but let me try and explain myself. Unlike the previous two attractions, Smuggler's Run is a ride that Disney clearly put a lot of effort into. The theming is incredible, seamlessly leading you into the iconic Millennium Falcon. It's deceptively complicated too. While Disney's other interactive rides like Mission Space follow a preset path, Smuggler's Run is entirely rendered live. Essentially, it's like a video game with the world's most complicated controller. That controller consists of 6 people split between 3 different jobs: pilot, gunner, and engineer. That's where my first critique comes into place. While the pilot role is pretty good, with your input showing clear reactions on screen, the other 2 roles are pretty much just hitting buttons. That means re-rides in those seats aren't as fun, especially when this ride only has one storyline. Being a screen-based ride, I think that's one of my biggest disappointments here. The story that this ride tells just isn't very fun, which leaves me pretty disappointed when it's over. If it had like 1 or 2 more, it wouldn't be as big of an issue, because then there would be multiple storylines to really make it more re-rideable. I can respect all the technical aspects and top-of-the-line theming, but as a ride, I guess it just isn't really for me. Number 6. Star Tours The Adventures Continue. Honestly, I enjoy this ride way more than I probably should. I've talked at length about my distaste for screen-based simulators, but there's something about Star Tours that's just different. While Disney's current usage of Star Wars nostalgia doesn't really appeal to me, there's something so perfectly cheesy about how it's done here. Rather than worrying about continuity and setting itself in a specific place and time, Star Tours takes full advantage of the IP it's based on. One second you'll be in the prequels, and the next you'll see Kylo Ren. The scenes are entirely randomized, which makes this arguably the most re-rideable attraction at Hollywood Studios. All of that, paired with the good but not great theming, makes Star Tours barely edge out Smuggler's Run for me. While I'll always prefer physical sets over screens, Star Tours is truly one of the best of its type. Number 5. Rock'n'Roller Coaster. This is Walt Disney World's only inverting roller coaster, going upside down a total of 3 times. That makes it the perfect ride for thrill seekers like myself. From the powerful launch to the surprisingly forceful layout. Pairing that thrill with a selection of Aerosmith's best songs, the ride experience is just pure fun. Unfortunately, the theming is a bit lackluster for me. Considering the theme of this ride, the neon street signs do make sense, but I can't help but think there was room for better execution. It gives guests something to look at once in a while, but it mostly just feels like a big void of nothing. While I do really enjoy this ride, it doesn't quite break into the top half of this list. Number 4, Toy Story Mania. Like with Star Tours, I probably shouldn't like this ride as much as I do. The theming is just alright, the visuals totally rely on screens, and there's minimal movement with absolutely no thrill. Despite all that, it may just be my favorite shooting dark ride. It is pure hectic fun, ranging from throwing rings at aliens to breaking plates with baseballs. It's extremely re-rideable as well, whether you're competing with members of your party or trying to reach a new high score. It really gets the small stuff right too. There's something so satisfying about just pulling the string and firing your weapon, with a noticeable click and pop sound each time. All that's to say, while it might not have anything extraordinary, it achieves what it's going for perfectly. Number 3, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I love the Great Movie Ride. The way it brought guests into all these classic films was incredibly well done, with its immersive theming and surprising guest interaction. If it were still here and on this list, it would probably rank in this exact same spot. Despite that, I think Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is the slightly better ride. It may not fit the park's theme quite as well, but apart from that, I have very little gripes. The modern Mickey Mouse cartoons are great, and this ride perfectly captures that aesthetic like I've never seen before. Utilizing innovative technology like projection mapping and a trackless ride system, this is clearly some of the best work Disney can do right now. It's so well done that any nitpicks I do have completely wither away as soon as I'm riding it. It may be third on this list, but in any other park, it would probably be their very best dark ride. Number 2, The Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. These top 2 spots were so hard to decide. Even though Tower of Terror is second place in this video, if you ask me tomorrow, it may very well be number 1. Similar to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, this ride is so well executed that I'd have to reach to find some criticism. While most Disney rides appeal to a family audience, Tower of Terror is different in how it manages to be genuinely scary, from the haunting queue to the drop tower itself. Those drops are intense too, leaving you hanging on for dear life. I think it's even more surprising how much I like this ride purely because I normally hate drop towers. Being afraid of heights, it takes a lot for me to willingly put myself that high off the ground, but Tower of Terror is worth it. Immaculate theming, fantastic effects, and heart-racing thrill all culminate into one of the best rides Disney has ever built. Number 1, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. Yeah, you probably saw this coming. This ride, from a purely technical standpoint, is Disney's best work. While that doesn't make it my favorite ride in the whole of Walt Disney World, it's still wild to step back and think about. I mean, the queue alone has 3 separate and uniquely impressive pre-shows. That's helped even more so by the ride's top-class theming. As soon as you step onto that Star Destroyer, the scale of the room is just staggering, and the detail around every corner is truly breathtaking. Hopping on board the ride proper, that sensational theming is paired with one of Disney's more high-energy rides. At times, it's almost overwhelming how much is going on. With that point, I understand why this ride may not be for some, but for a theme park nerd like myself, rides as innovative as this are so rare to find, especially considering the cost. Rise of the Resistance does so much to push the barrier of what a theme park ride can be, and I desperately hope we get more like this from Disney in the near future. What do you think of this ranking? Be sure to tell me in the comments below, and be sure to like and subscribe for more Disney and theme park content. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.